Hi everyone and welcome to another video. In this video I'll be talking all about Etsy. A lot of people have said they'd be interested in an Etsy related video, and I have a few specific questions that people have asked me to answer, so I'll answer those towards the end of the video. Whilst I speak about starting an Etsy shop and all that good stuff, there will be a time-lapse video of my most recent wildlife piece, a badger. I will soon be releasing prints, mugs and things like that with this badger on. The link to my Etsy shop and my website are in the description below if you are interested. Hopefully I'll get all the stock here at some point in late February. So let's get into the video. So when you first start an Etsy shop, I'd say make sure you have at least 10 items to list on there. Just because the more items you have on your shop, the more likely someone's going to find you when searching for something, because there's obviously more things they could come across. I have about 60 to 70 listings on my Etsy shop, but at first I did not have that many. When I first created my shop, the photos I used were pretty bad and quite dull, so no one was really going to click on my listings, as the photo just didn't look appealing. The product photos are one of the most important things because that's what people are initially going to look at when scrolling through a bunch of listings. Yours needs to stand out against everyone else's. After I realised that my photos were bad, I looked into props I could use to make my photos look more interesting. I used flowers from the garden in summer, and they did make my products look a lot more appealing. It's a good idea though not to clutter up your photos too much, because you want the focus to be mainly on the product that you're trying to sell. I have recently bought some artificial flowers to use in my photos so that my photos would be more consistent, because in winter you can't really get flowers from your garden, so I will hopefully be using these for my next product releases, so hopefully that all goes to plan. In your Etsy titles you want to use lots of keywords, and by keywords I mean words which people are likely to type into the Etsy search bar when they're looking for something. So, for example, I sell hand-painted wooden bee decorations, so instead of just calling it painted bee decoration, it's a good idea to add in more keywords, so people might type in bee ornament for garden, or rustic wood bee hanging decoration, or things like that. Try to add in as many keywords as possible, and try to think about, if you're trying to find your item on Etsy, what would you type into the search bar? What I find really helpful is that you can look at your Etsy shop analytics for each item in your shop, and Etsy will tell you what people have typed in to find your item. This is really helpful because then you can find out exactly what people search for and how they found your item. In your tags, you also want to write keywords like I mentioned for the item title. A lot of my tags are also in the title of the listing. So if you're selling a mug, don't just tag things like mug, because if you type the word mug into Etsy, so many listings will come up and yours will just never be found by someone if they just type in mug. Try to use more tags which are more specific to your item. So if you're selling a baby penguin mug, use tags like baby penguin mug or penguin chick mug, as they're much more specific and your item will be more likely to be found in search. You also want to make sure that your product description is accurate. So make sure to include all the dimensions of your products, the colours, what it's made from, all those sorts of things. So then the buyer knows exactly what they're buying. At the end of my product descriptions, I often put things like matching coasters are also available on my Etsy shop, so feel free to check those out too, or something like that, which might encourage the shoppers to click on your shop and view all your other listings. I did find though that Etsy took a little while to get going for me, so I opened my shop up in 2019, towards the beginning, I think around April, and I only got about 4 sales in that whole first year. It was only in about the middle of 2020 when my sales started to shoot up, and by no means am I an expert. I am still trying to figure out some tags which work for certain products, and I'm still learning. I have about 350 sales, which might seem like a lot to some people, but compared to some shops which have thousands and thousands of sales, I really don't have that many, so I'm definitely still learning too. What I've found though is that it's easier to sell certain products on Etsy compared to others. I find prints quite difficult to sell, and mugs on Etsy are quite hard to sell, and I think that's mostly down to the fact that prints and mugs are such a crowded market on Etsy. So many people sell these things, and so then it's so difficult to get these products to show up in the search. I keep changing my tags every couple of months to see if I can find any tags which work well for these items. I also have my own website which has an online shop on it too, and I find that my prints and my mugs sell so much better on there. I only created my website last year, and the main reason I created this was because I wanted one place where all my business information was. So my website's got my online shop, my pet portrait information, a gallery of all my artwork and things like that. If you'd like me to do a whole video speaking about my website, please let me know and I can do a whole video about that. I'm going to answer some questions now which people have asked me on Instagram, and I'll answer each one individually. I mean, some of them were quite similar, so I'm not going to answer them all, but I'll answer some of them. One question I had was, what made you go to Etsy over other sites? So I started using Etsy because it's cheap to set up, and also Etsy drives traffic to your listings for you. You don't necessarily have to have a large social media following to generate sales, which I didn't at the time, so I thought it was a good idea to start an Etsy shop. One thing which might put people off using Etsy are the fees, so you need to make sure that you're still making enough profit. But considering Etsy drives customers to the shop for you, it's definitely worth it in my opinion. There are other sites similar to Etsy, such as New Monday I've heard of, I think it's called, but they aren't as well known as Etsy, so I chose Etsy because it had a higher chance of making sales on there. I have my own website now as well, like I said, but when I first started my business, I didn't want to splurge out and pay for a website yet, so I went with Etsy as it didn't cost much to start up. Another question was, do you have to be a business to sell on Etsy? I'd just say, technically, if you're selling products, you are a business, so yeah, I'd say technically yeah. How can you get more sales and views? Definitely by using good keywords in your titles and tags, but also social media helps massively as well. You could advertise your Etsy on your Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or even TikTok. Lots of people are using TikTok at the moment to show their products, and a lot of businesses have made many sales from on there, so it's definitely worth giving a try. What sells best on Etsy? As I said earlier, I find prints and mugs quite difficult to sell on Etsy, but that isn't to say that you won't be able to sell these things on there, especially if people find your Etsy through your social media. I found that my hand-painted wooden decorations sell well on Etsy, and also coasters and greetings cards. Although greetings cards is also quite a saturated market on Etsy, they're something which people always buy, so I think there's more of a chance of selling a card rather than an art print, if that makes sense. So yeah, cards, coasters, and handmade things is what I found to sell the best on my Etsy shop out of the things that I sell. How do I know how to package my orders? You can package them however you like, just make sure that the item is well protected and is unlikely to get damaged in the post. You can buy boxes and things online. I usually get mine from eBay, and they're a great way to package up your orders. It's also nice to maybe wrap the item in tissue paper or include a business card or something just to add a little personal touch. I often pop in a discount code for the next purchase, however this discount code can only be used on my website, not my Etsy. And the reason I do this is just to push more sales to my website, and also because of the Etsy fees. If I gave a further discount on my Etsy things, I'd be making basically no profit on those items, so there wouldn't really be any point. I think that's covered the main questions that I've been asked, so I hope that you found the video useful and that you learned something. If you haven't started up an Etsy shop yet, definitely give it a try, as it doesn't cost much to set up, so you aren't losing out on much except from a bit of your time. If you already have an Etsy shop, then I hope you find it successful. And if you don't find it successful straight away, don't give up. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye guys!